Meet your new team member. Her name is Martha M. Masters.
Hooray!
Coming on board a show that's, been well established like House is actually quite a relief, I have to say. I've launched 2 shows before, and it can be really exhausting, and oftentimes they get canceled pretty quickly. So it was really nice to come into an environment where it was a well-oiled machine, and you felt safe in that position to try new things and to be sort of a little maybe more dangerous than you normally would be with your choices.
We knew Olivia was taking time off to go do movies, and we had to replace her temporarily.
I think that without a female member of the team, the boys would end up just sort of chasing each other around in circles. It's sort of the blind leading the blind. I think they need the woman to keep them in line.
We have to put somebody else in who, A, is not the same tone or voice of Jennifer or Olivia, but also find somebody that is different enough to complement our cast.
And they have to believably be a doctor.
We knew that we wanted it to be a fresh, sort of fresh eyes on House. That is to say, a med student.
And we started banding about characters, and we thought of this character, this slightly naive character, and Amber Tamlin's name came up.
They wanted to write a character for me, and what was I interested in playing? And it was a very humbling and awesome thing to be asked.
We didn't have a script for her at that point, so it's tough to throw yourself into something and commit yourself to numerous episodes of a show without knowing exactly what it is. But she was the only one who could have played Martha Masters because she came up with the name Martha Masters.
My real life best friend, Martha Meredith Masters, that is her real name, and she actually is a med student. So when David had a loose idea of this character he wanted to write, and was I interested in that, and I said, that sounds a lot like my friend Meredith. And so they really loved that idea, and they, they asked her if they could use her name, and it just sort of was created that way. It's a sort of an homage character to a real-life friend.
Masters brings a very different energy to the team, an energy that I, as an audience member, really, truly enjoy. And I love watching the dynamic change as they kind of adapt to this new person.
That's an extremely cowardly position.
Listen to the genius.
Masters is very intelligent, she's very smart. I think she's like House in a lot of ways. She can be very socially awkward, and her interactions with people are a little off. I didn't want to kill anybody. I just wanted to torture them slowly in my basement, preferably with acid.
A character like Martha is really hard to play without everyone simply hating the character, and I think that she brings such a vulnerability with her acting that it made it possible for people to both hate her and love her at the same time.
I think it was a terrific creation, the character. I love the idea of this very precocious geek, let's be honest. I hope she won't mind me saying that, who's got way ahead of herself in certain areas, academic areas, but is sort of behind herself in others. She brought a wonderful thing to the show. She also brought a wonderful thing to the set. She's an incredibly bright and funny woman. She completely got us.
It was very easy for me as an actress to come into the environment. What was not easy was learning some of the medical terms. Gram stains are negative in the first CSF samples. That was the only thing that really sort of made me sweat in the beginning, but now I know them.
How can we ask our patients to trust us if we're not honest with them?
How can we ask the patient to trust us after we tell him he can't trust us? What was interesting was that Master's goodness and Master's different moral scale when she arrived sort of put into relief, I know for me and I think for Jesse and Omar also, just how far our characters have fallen being part of House's world.
This is insane. We can't work like this.
I can.
She's fresh meat for the grinder, because everyone's, after working with House for so long, we play in his world of bendable morals, and it's against who she is. And she really struggles with the idea of the end justifying the means, and it's sort of a baptism of fire.
Masters sort of had this no-lie clause in the contract of her life, I guess. She never wanted to lie. It was beyond just the moral thing. It just came down to telling the truth at all times.
If lying to a patient saved their life, would you do it?
No.
How'd you get so screwed up?
Masters is a very ethical person, and she does not believe in lying, no matter the case. And throughout this season, you really see her have to attack that exact idea, which is Do you want the patient to die or do you want them to live? And if you want them to live, that means you might have to lie to them, and is Masters willing to do that? Well, oftentimes she's not, and you get to see that several times, which is a real sort of character growing experience for her.
You're risking my patient's life, so you're fired. You're fired. You're fired again.
Even though he's driven crazy by Masters' sort of uprightness, I think there's something compelling about it. I think he can't stay away. I think House would always gravitate towards characters like that.
There is a major moral standoff between House and Masters, as there is, I think, almost every single character that he ever comes into contact with.
So let's see if you could follow along here. You lie to him. He definitely consents. He might live. You tell him the truth like last time. He might not consent. He definitely dies.
He believes that it's always about getting the end result that he wants, no matter the cause, and breaking all the rules to do that. And Masters just can't really wrap her head around that.
Remind me what's so wrong about lying.
Someone like Masters is just an unending challenge to him, which I think he greatly enjoys.
You want the people on your team to challenge you, otherwise you'd just be a bully instead of a great doctor. You hired me because I don't compromise my principles.
Or I want a front row seat when you wake up and realize how useless your principles are.
He's out to sort of say, is that really who you are? And are you sure that's who you are? And, you know, and he tests her. And anybody who sort of is very different from House and thinks they know everything about who they are and what they believe is fun for him.
I don't want you to just lie to a patient. I want you to want to lie to a patient.
It's not gonna happen.
Their end result, they both want the same thing. It's just how they go about that they completely don't agree on. Anybody that's written as a complex character is going to intrigue House. That's just the way it is.